Welcome into the Cowboys Report. A few hours to go until Monday Night Football, but some news made by the Cowboys, some roster moves, transactions made. We'll break that down, plus some injury notes, but first, we are winning the like race this week against our Giants channel and that loser host, Marshall Green. Let's keep it going. Make sure we win the like race. Like today's video. If you want the Cowboys to win, it's backed and proven by science and data that if you like the video, Dallas is more likely to win in Week 3 on Monday Night Football. You're watching the Cowboys Report. I am Tom Downey. Here is the latest going on around America's team on the hours away now from Monday Night Football. A lot going on. Official news on Jason Peters. We'll break that down. Injury notes on Michael Gallup, Dalton Schultz, Micah Parsons, and some practice squad promotions from that standpoint, at least for the time being. We begin, though, with Jason Peters. As has been a possibility all week long, the Cowboys have filled the open roster spot with offensive lineman Jason Peters. Now, what's interesting is their apparent plan for Peters, and I'm not sure I'm fully on board with this one, but the plan is, per multiple reports, if he plays, left guard is the spot he might get some reps at. And allegedly, Peters, who's still getting fully back into game shape, might get a pitch count type of game, might rotate in, which I don't love doing. I don't like, in general, rotating offensive linemen. It never works. It's never worked one time in the NFL or in college football. When you're rotating linemen, means you don't have good offensive line play overall. Now, left guard is the weak spot for this offensive line. Matt Farniok is a fine run blocker. He's, I think, a better center than he is a guard, and he's not a good pass protector. That has been a problem for the Cowboys, so we'll see if Peters gets a chance there. Sounds like the Cowboys' plan is to keep Tyler Smith and Terrence Steele at their tackle spots respectively, but I think there is some valid concern there over Matt Farniok at left guard. So Farniok then would be potential replaced by Jason Peters. We'll see if he gets some reps or not. We've seen Peters play guard in the NFL before. It wasn't that great. It was with Philadelphia. It's a big reason why Eagles fans are like, he's bad now, which he was actually good at left tackle for the Bears last year. I think Tyler Smith is your best healthy guard on the roster until McGovern gets healthy, or left guard, I should say. McGovern gets healthy. Obviously, McGovern's then number 2. They don't want to move Tyler Smith yet because he's played pretty well at left tackle, but you drafted to be a guard year 1 until he takes over left tackle. So there's a lot of juggling acts here. We're getting your best 5 out there. Also isn't maximizing, I think, the short-term and long-term impact of your best 5. In some order, right this moment, Tyler Smith, Jason Peters, Biadasz, Zach Martin, Terrence Steele. I think Peters is best at left tackle. Cowboys don't want to play him there right now, though, because of Tyler Smith. So what do you think? Should the Cowboys start Jason Peters somewhere, whether it's left tackle, left guard, hell, even right tackle? This is the pinned comment on today's show. So if the ad break comes here on YouTube, take advantage of it. Type in Y for yes or type in N for no at that pinned comment. Here's a surprise one for you. I think shocking pretty much all members of Cowboys media. Michael Gallup is out. He is not expected to play after all against the New York Giants. I was fully anticipating that the Cowboys would have Michael Gallup available. Frankly, I'm shocked that Gallup is up on the active roster and still not playing tonight. I thought for a long time Week 3 was their target line. They'd acted like Gallup would be out there. They've said there's been no setback. It's now being pushed by your friendly Cowboys media of, they're being smart long term. Okay. Could have just made it clear he wasn't going to play. Maybe there's some Mike McCarthy gamesmanship going on out here and whatnot, but Gallup is not expected to play, which I think is a pretty big departure from what had been said, what had been leaked to media, what had been the expectation around this team for several days now. So CeeDee Lamb, Noah Brown, Jalen Tolbert is up as well, Sima Fehoko, Kevontae Turpin. You'll have those 5 receivers, I assume, are going to be your active receivers tonight. Again, Gallup was a full participant all week at practice. Still not going to go. So I am hopeful, knock on wood, how about a Jalen Tolbert breakout game? Remember, they had Dennis Houston. They waived him. He's back on the practice squad right now. He'd been getting a lot of reps. Fehoko got a chance early last week and then had a false start, and they kind of benched him after that. Does Jalen Tolbert get a chance for a Cowboys team that probably, as we'll get into, also will not have Dalton Schultz tonight. We'll break that down more in depth. But today's show is made possible by our sportsbook partner, BetUS. Chatsports.com/bet. Promo code Cowboys125 gets you a 125% deposit bonus. That way, in case you get some bets wrong, like, I don't know, maybe you did a 16 parlay and had the Chiefs as one of those teams that were going to win for you and you lost that. It's okay. You got plenty of leftover money at BetUS. But also maybe a bet on the Jags to outright beat the Chargers at 6.5 point spread that you took the money line. Maybe you're feeling good on that one like somebody did. It's me. You can also bet on this game. The Giants have settled in as a 1-point favorite at home. Over under 39. Thinking low scoring game again. Chatsports.com/bet. Promo code Cowboys125 gets you a 125% deposit bonus when you put down at least $100. Let's move to Dalton Schultz. He is unlikely to play tonight. He's going to go through that pregame workout, the tests, the whatever phrase you want to call it there, to see if he can end up going, but things do seem unlikely from that standpoint. So we'll see what ends up happening there with Dalton Schultz. He's hurt. Jake Ferguson is the next man up at tight end. Peyton Hendershot as well. He'll be active. And as we'll get into more in depth in a little bit, the Cowboys have made some adjustments to their practice squad, or from the practice squad, calling up Sean McEwen. But Schultz is a very, I'd probably label him doubtful more than questionable right now. Now, I am very curious here how the team will operate without Dalton Schultz. They used a lot more two tight end packages last week, which worked well. They ran the football effectively. Now I wonder how they do that with a pair of rookies. Jake Ferguson and Henderson had like a handful of snaps in week 2. He's a UDFA. Sean McEwen will get a lot of special teams run, I think. I'm going to keep an eye on with no Gallup and probably no Schultz, how they're going to operate with their offense down 2 of their top 3 best pieces on that side of the football, beyond what you lost in the offseason. So of these 2 guys, who is the bigger loss? Type in 13 for Michael Gallup or type in 86 for Dalton Schultz. Let me know in the comment section. Good news now, Micah Parsons and his flu game, or allergies, as Mike McCarthy said. It's not allergies. I don't believe that for a second, because they always lie to us anyway. He's going to be good to go. He's expected to play. All good on that front there. Was limited on Saturday, missed Thursday, Friday practices. I think Parsons will be good to go there. I think a good matchup for him. I am very curious how he gets deployed. The Giants' weak spot on the offensive line is on the interior. Do you put Tank there? Do you give some Micah Parsons linebacker pressure reps there? Or do you put him against Evan Neal? I think, again, Parsons has the advantage. There's like a couple guys in the NFL that I think can hold up against Parsons. Evan Neal's not one of them right now. The Cowboys' defense has the edge when both sides are on the football. The Giants will try to run the football. If Dallas can get them into third downs, that is pin your ears back and go if you're Micah Parsons, if you are Tank Lawrence, who also, by the way, loves playing the Giants. He's had a fantastic, he plays like Micah Parsons every time he's out there against the Giants. He's just owned them for whatever reason. So with that in mind, some more practice squad notes coming up here in a second. Pick the score for me of Cowboys against the Giants. Who you got winning? I assume it's the Cowboys, but sound off for me in the comment section. As the Cowboys have been doing the first couple games of the year, they have made some practice squad call-ups. Will Grier, the backup quarterback, as expected, has been promoted to the game day active roster for today. That's his second call-up this year. So he's got one more potentially next week. Then the Cowboys got to make a decision. Is Dak going to be able to play in week 5, or do they have to sign Will Grier to the roster? Things get a little bit dicey from that standpoint there. Also called up has been Sean McEwen. Again, calling up McEwen, I think, is a pretty good indication that probably not going to have Dalton Schultz out there. So you call him up there. He'll be tight end 3, I would assume, behind Ferguson, behind Hendershot. I am very curious how many offensive snaps, if any, he gets in this matchup. One thing I want to keep an eye out for again is the penalties. Keep them down. It worked awesome in week 2. Let's keep it going. Keep the movement. Keep the bullying alive. Don't let the Cowboys commit a bunch of self-inflicted wounds, because if you commit a bunch of penalties tonight, you're not going to win that football game. So type flags in the comments section. Join the movement and bully America's team into committing fewer penalties going forward. And, of course, join us tonight for the Cowboys-Giants live stream. Monday Night Football will be live for this one. We'll be going up against their Giants show. Marshall Green, have some fun with him throughout the night as well. Hit that big red button and subscribe. Watch party Monday Night Football right here on the Cowboys Report.